of the 21-day Sacred Breast Liberation Challenge. And we are going to start left hand over right shoulder up high, or not shoulder, upper arm, and right hand on your left inner thigh, inner lower thigh, I guess, just above the knee. So your fingertips are touching the knee. And this is a Jin Shin Jyutsu sequence, or flow, if you want to call it, where you can help any breast project. And the reason why we say project is because a project you can work on. A problem or disease or cancer is just, it's a thing. And you really can't work on it per se. So, and this is a practice called Jin Shin Jyutsu. It was brought to us to America by Mary Burmeister. And her birthday is the 21st of the month. And I thought because of Breast Care Awareness Month is in October, as well as menopause, I thought this would be a great activity to do to introduce people to Jin Shin Jyutsu and how easy and effortless it is to do this practice. And when you're working on yourself, you're also working on generational traumas or energies from 7 years behind and 7 years forward. So this is what Jin Shin Jyutsu is all about, helping break the cycle, basically. If you have studied the energy work like I have and know we're energetic, magnetic beings, and everything is energy, you really have a different perspective on life itself. And when you have these tools like Jin Shin Jyutsu, breath work, knowing your greatest gift, to know thyself, like what works for you. Does going outside in nature barefoot really make a difference for you? Have you tried it? Going out in nature really has different exchanges of energy with the physical body. That's why forests, I think forest bathing is what they call it, walking in nature. It's kind of, well, it's interesting how Japan now doesn't do prescriptions anymore. First, they prescribe the patient to go outside in nature 20 minutes a day. Barefoot, of course, walking through nature, touching trees, being in nature. Nature actually can help you, your body, get into that parasympathetic state, that rest, restore, digest state, where you are basically in a relaxed state. That's when you can heal. That's mostly what happens to people when they go through meditation or they do breath work or they're sleeping. These are times where your body can be 100% in that parasympathetic state. And you could look at that also as where your ego is not getting involved, whether the thoughts that you have in your head, you don't really control them when you're sleeping or when you're in meditation. It's a different type of experience, I'll say. And when you're in that sympathetic state, that fight, flight, or freeze, which I did for too many years at a time, that is very debilitating for the body. The body can't keep up with that. The body will get sick or have dis-ease or disease. You will feel that low energy and fatigue and chronic pain and all that. And what Jin Shin Jyutsu teaches us is that we can, like acupuncture, place our hands in different parts of our body or even hold fingers. That's another aspect of Jin Shin Jyutsu. Just simply doing that can actually change the direction of the energy in your body. You see, when we have pain or any disharmony in the body, if it's in an organ or pain in your neck or something like that, all that is congested energy stuck. That's all that is. And that stuckness, if it's not taken care of or resolved or transformed, it will come from a simple pain to a major pain or get involved with all different systems, autoimmune disease, which I had Hashimoto's, so I'm very familiar with fatigue, chronic pain, all the things. And that's basically your body kind of calling out to you, saying, hey, listen to me. We have a disharmony happening here. Houston, we got a problem. So what you need to do is have that awareness and not put a pill in your mouth or a synthetic drug in your mouth or alcohol or drugs or whatever your vice is. That pain or disease or whatever you want to label it is an opportunity for you to take a moment, like I like to say, going through menopause, taking a pause. Taking a pause and reflecting, going within, getting quiet. You can call it a meditation. You can call it self-care. I mean, there's many different words we can use for it, but it's simply getting quiet, getting in that parasympathetic state so you can listen to what your body's stating to you to do or be aware of or to change. Just like sitting down for a long period of time. I mean, even the greatest athletes, if they sit for a long period of time, they're going to have some type of disharmony or pain. So having that awareness is really a better way to live. So you can take the time and touch yourself, play with yourself, you know, do different things to your body to get to know the body, because the body, all it is a meat suit, a temple for your soul to come into so you can experience the 5 different senses of the body, to experience life, you know. And then we have the duality where the good and bad, the white and black, the harmony and disharmony, having that duality. That's the flow that you're in here to learn what works for you. So having a self-care practice isn't selfish. It's taking care of you. And you know, you hear from Tony Robbins and many of the other great speakers, put your oxygen mask on first and then to the children or to your family. You have to take care of yourself. And I am so on target to help other women realize this and ask for help. You're not meant to take care of everyone. Believe me, I tried. I did for, gosh, I took care of my uncle 8.5 years at assisted living facilities. And then my mother was taking care of her as she got older. And then had the kids, and I had the job and the dog and the things, and you know, the wife role, the career role, the mother role, the daughter role. It was too much, and I was meditating, sure, but it still was a little too much for my body to handle because I wasn't regenerating any energy. I wasn't cultivating any energy. And you think energy comes from food? It doesn't. It comes from movement. It comes from your thoughts. It comes from, you know, yes, the food you eat, but is the food that you're eating full of energy, full of prana? And if it comes in a bag or a box, or if you had fresh food and throw it in a microwave, you're not getting any prana. And that will drain you. Because you see, you're thinking that you're having energy, you're feeding yourself food, but that food doesn't have any nutrients in it, any prana, any energy that your body can process. There's a chart, you could probably Google it, of the layers of energy of food. And way at the very bottom, what they call death, is all processed food. And food like chips or, you know, anything comes out of a box or a bag, or anything that was, you know, cookies, bread, all that's processed. None of that has energy. Fruit from a tree, salad, greens, anything that's seen the light of the sun and then the next thing it sees is going into your mouth, well, that is actually pranic, energetic food. And that will get you energized, and that will prevent you from having fatigue or pain or anything like that. We're going to switch now. We're going to take our right hand and put it to our upper left arm and our left hand on our right upper leg. This is 10 minutes on this side. So when you're have a lifestyle of eating pranic food and healthy food, clean food, because you could have an apple cut, conventional apple off of a tree, but then it gets processed with pesticides and they put a wax on it and all the things. That's why it lasts for, months sometimes. And they say some of the food the produce that gets into our grocery stores that we think is fresh is actually over 90 days old, because they pick it off of or pick it, whether it be from a tree or from the ground, and it's not even ready to be consumed, but then they put chemicals over it so that way it can ripen on the way to the store. That's not really eating healthy or well. That's not going to get you energized and feeling amazing every day. I can't believe I'm 60. I turned 60 in May this year, and I feel like 21 again. I don't have the aches and pains like I used to. I can get them back if I'm not eating well or eating out, or even if I have a cocktail or two. It's not, it doesn't serve me anymore. And I know this. I've tried this many different times in the last, 10 years. So, but I figured out what works for me, and what works for me might not work for you. That's why you need to try different things. But you do need to try different things so you get to know who you are and what you are. And sorry, I got a message coming in my phone. So I am a little late today, about as far as going live, because I was on another call on Saturdays, and I forgot my calls on Saturday go past 10 o'clock or 10:10. So I might even move these lives to Instagram or to Facebook, because I am not getting the amount of views, and I want to get this to more people. So you might see that transition happen. But once you learn the move, or the way to do this flow, just do it 10 minutes on one side and 10 minutes on the other side, opposite high arm to high thigh, and that's it. And of course, there's two other components of Jin Shin Jyutsu. One is the actual hold or the flow. The other part is the breath. Mary said to have 36 breaths in a day keeps the doctors away. So having a exhale longer than your inhale will also put you in that parasympathetic state. And we're supposed to be in that state for about 95% of the day, and 5% in that sympathetic state. And I think a lot of us have it opposite, where we're 95% in that sympathetic state, that fight, flight, or freeze, and 5% or 5% of the time in that parasympathetic state. So have a little awareness of your activities, your lifestyle, and all it takes is a little change. Like Tony Robbins would say, you put just 2% off of your track when you're traveling on an airplane or boat or whatever. Just 2% off can make the end destination way off by thousands of miles. So he also taught me that there's no competition with other people. The only competition there is with yourself. And that is only to be 2% better than what you were the day before. And doesn't that feel nice? I was in science for, 25 years. More than that. But the science field, being a woman, you know, was very different than it would have been for a man. Being a Hispanic woman too, I was told to go back to my maiden name so they could have their quota of, you know, minorities. And I didn't like to play that game. I like people to see me as who I am, not what my skin is or how I look or anything like that. And I think things are starting to change and go back to people realizing, you know, everybody's different, and that's okay. I don't have to agree with everything that other people say because I know what works for me. I can have an opinion, but like I used to say, or used to think, I guess I was a little concerned about what other people said about me or thought about me. But after a while, after I got to know me for who I am, I just didn't care anymore. It doesn't matter to me. Other people's opinion are none of my business. That's their opinion. I can have my own opinion. That's fine. But my opinion is for me, not for anyone else. If someone wants to know my opinion, okay, I'll give it to them. But I stopped worrying about that. And I think that's why when I quit my job at Moffitt Cancer Center, I wasn't really concerned about what other people were thinking. I just knew I had to quit because the job wasn't serving me. I was just so stressed out, and I think, slowly dying. And I had to do something in order to get better because I was so fatigued and just no energy and just felt awful. And I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to play that way anymore. So I changed things up. It took me 18 months. I did heal my body from Hashimoto's and then use those tools to help me continue to help with any symptoms that I have with menopause. And I really feel like I've got that one, you know, pretty well done in my life. There's only one other aspect on the menopause that I'm still working on, and that will be part of the teachings when I do start menopause classes back up. So I can't believe we only have 2.5 minutes left and that's it. So this practice is to be done 3 times a day, 20 minutes, 10 minutes on each side for 21 days. And this will help you with any breast projects that you have, not only for yourself, but for other people. And if you know people, women that have been struck with or diagnosed with the breast cancer label, well, this is what you need to do. 21 days, 3 times a day, 20 minutes. That's an hour a day for 21. That's 21 hours. To heal your body, I don't know. I think that's simple to do. So be mindful of how powerful you are and that you can change things, even though you might be depressed and overweight and just can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I was there, not once, but several times in, gosh, the last 30 years. So you just got to make a decision, and no decision is still a decision. So love yourself enough to just spend 20 minutes. Just do this once and see how you feel. Do it outside. It's even more magical, because if you can ground yourself and sit on grass or stones or sand, then you can get an exchange with the energy. Even leaning up against a tree would be very helpful to do this move too, because then you're involving the energy of Gaia in that tree, and then set the intention, which is something I forgot. So let us set the intention that you have a moment of 20 minutes to just come back to yourself, come back to peace, come back to happy, and help resolve any disharmony in the body. So with 20 seconds left, I'm going to sign off here, and we will meet again Well, I'll repost this on my YouTube channel for 1/11 to premiere. And I will see you again tomorrow at 10:10. So thank you very much. That's the end of the flow, and we'll see you later.